All right, we should be live. What's going on, everybody? Let's have a good stream. Get some people in here. All right. I wanted to talk about a lot of the Week 12 matchups. We got a lot of good games coming up. Michigan State versus Ohio State. Oregon versus Utah. There are some big games coming this week, and I'm excited to get started talking about them. Also talking about the new college playoff poll. A lot of things, well, not really. A lot of the top 10 really stayed the same, so kind of interesting. Michigan still ahead of Michigan State, even though they lost the head-to-head. They seem to value head-to-head about everywhere else except for that matchup for some reason. So, yeah. Yo, what's up, Drake? How you doing, my man? I'm freaking excited for these games this weekend. There is a good slate of games. Last weekend, I feel like there were some good games, but like compared to like the rest of the season, there was a lot less upsets than what we were seeing. So, yo, what's up, Christian? This week, I'm expecting some upsets to happen. Do you guys think Michigan State can beat Ohio State? It's gonna be a good game. I think that point spread was way too big. I mean, Ohio State favored plus 20 points. I feel like Michigan State is for sure gonna cover that, but I'm not sure if they can win. It's in Columbus. Doing pretty good. Probably gonna hop on Vanguard here in a little bit. That's what's up, man. Vanguard's been pretty lit. Vanguard has been pretty lit. I'll probably play some maybe tonight myself after the stream. Do you think the game versus Vandy was the confidence booster Will Levis and company needed? Yeah, I think so. I didn't really watch that game. Did Will Levis have a really good game? Did he turn the ball over any? Because if he had no turnovers, then that could definitely be a big confidence boost for him. And you also have New Mexico State coming up this weekend. That will also get a huge confidence boost. Let me look up real quick Kentucky's schedule. Kentucky football. All right, so you got only 2 games left. Yeah, 2 games left in the regular season. You got New Mexico State, and then you're at Louisville in a rivalry game. So that Louisville game is actually going to be very interesting with Malik Cunningham. I definitely could see you guys winning the last 2 games here of the season, and finishing 9-3. That is really good, especially for having to face SEC opponents all year. He is 14-22, 177 and 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Yeah, I think that could definitely help his confidence a lot. I think he could. I look for him to have a maybe even better of a game against New Mexico State, who really should not compete with Kentucky at all. I mean, you guys should be able to blow them out. And yeah, Louisville will probably be a pretty good game. I think that one will be close. But yeah, I definitely see you guys finishing 9-3, getting a really good bowl game. And yeah. It just seems like even in that game, like he had the interception and only 177 yards, which is good. But earlier in the season, I mean, Will Levis was going off. I mean, he was throwing for 5 touchdowns. Did he have 5 touchdowns in a game this year? I'm pretty sure he did, or at least 4 in a couple games. So earlier in the season, he really was taking off. And I don't know if Georgia just like hurt his confidence a lot, or if Georgia's defense just kind of showed what you needed to do to kind of they kind of figured him out and released the formula to stop Will Levis. So in that passing game, I think a big key to the Louisville game, I think the New Mexico State game should be no problem. Or is it just New Mexico? Not New Mexico State, but let me look real quick. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think Chris Rodriguez Jr. is probably the key to that Louisville game and getting the rush game going. He had 16 carries, 114, and a touchdown. Yeah, I think you kind of pound the ground against Louisville, and then that will probably open up the play action and keep Will Levis to what he threw in that Vanderbilt game, around 20 to 25 pass attempts per game. Don't just let the cannon loose and just let him throw like 40 passes a game. I think running the ball, then hitting the play action deep, maybe hit some screen passes to Wan'Dale Robinson. I think that's definitely the key against Louisville. And if you guys can execute that and play some great defense and stop Malik Cunningham, 9-3 season for sure. I got a banger video coming out tomorrow. It's something a little bit different than what I usually do. So I'm going to need some constructive criticism on this video, because if I do make it into a series, then I want to make the future videos better. But I did spend a lot of time on this one coming out tomorrow, and I think it's pretty good. So get Wan'Dale going will be key. Even some jet sweeps. Yeah, jet sweeps, screen passes, get some end arounds, anything. Get some trick plays in there. Flip it to Josh Ali, someone. Let him throw the ball out of the jet sweep or something. Let him throw the ball to Wan'Dale Moore. Or Wan'Dale Robinson. I was thinking of Rondale Moore. Where would you have Chris Rodriguez ranked in the country? As far as running backs, so you got K9, Kenneth Walker, who's definitely number 1. You got Trey Henderson at Ohio State, who's up there. I gotta think of all the good running backs. I know there's a lot of them this year. Dang, let me take a look at these running backs. Alright, let me take a look at some of these running backs. Off the top of my head, I'd say he's a lock for top 10, maybe top 15. I'm looking at him now. So you got Kenneth Walker. I really like Sean Tucker out of Syracuse. He's a freshman, which is crazy. You got Tyler Allegier from BYU, who's an absolute stud. Bijan Robinson. Jalen Warren from Oklahoma State, Trey Henderson, Hassan Haskins at Michigan is a beast too. Man, there's so many. Isaiah Spiller from Texas A&M. Yeah, there is a ton. Brian Robinson Jr., of course, from Alabama. Brees Hall. Abram Smith has been a beast. Abram Smith has been taking off for Baylor this year. My goodness. Yeah, give me K9 the third, Sean Tucker, Trey Henderson, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Alliger, Jalen Warren, Abram Smith. I would say he's up there with the likes of Hassan Haskins, Brian Robinson out of Alabama. Probably around like that 10 range, I would put him. Looking at the running backs. The Michigan back is really good. Yeah, Hassan Haskins, and they had another one, Blake Corum, who actually got injured because that running back duo was tearing it up together. They were splitting carries and both still getting like 100 yards a carry each, which was crazy. You're thinking around 15 range. Yeah, I'd probably have him around there. I said around the 10 range. I didn't really get to look at everyone. I'm sure I'm missing some people, but yeah, definitely around that range, I would say for sure. Let's see. I'll take a look at the matchups here for this weekend. See if there's any other interesting games to take a look at. I'm 2-0 in my spread picks this week. And I'm actually... Yeah, I am actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I am 5-0 on my winner picks so far this week because the Maction games Tuesday and Wednesday, I got all 5 games right in both the spread picks and the winner picks, which is crazy. I am 5-0. Was not expecting that. Okay. Wake Forest Clemson is going to be a good game. I'm excited for that. Iowa State Oklahoma. We'll see if Oklahoma can recover after that loss to Baylor. I'm not so sure. And then they got Oklahoma State next week as well. Tough slate of games there for the Sooners. Who else we got here? Utah, Oregon. That's going to be a good one. Probably going to see a rematch of that game in the Pac-12 championship, if I were to guess. I'd say my sleeper underdog of the week, I have a couple of games that I haven't really talked about in my videos. I like Missouri to maybe beat Florida at home. Florida doesn't look like they're playing too hard right now, to say the least. And I definitely think Missouri will cover that spread. One of my bigger spread picks of the week. I also think Kansas maybe has a chance to upset TCU. That could be an interesting one too. Oscar Tshiebwe is a rebounding nut. Man, let me tell you, Drake. I watched the Kentucky Duke game. Basketball game. First game of the year for both teams. And I just watched Oscar Tshiebwe get offensive rebound after offensive rebound after offensive rebound. And I was like, I honestly just wanted to just cry. Like, the fact that the Mountaineers lost him is just so upsetting because that we need some rebounding. We need a big man this year, and he's just an absolute beast, man. He used to do that for us, even his freshman year when he played here. He's a rebounding machine. He's an absolute beast. Just the way he positions himself to get the boards, he's a beast. He's a beast. You guys got a good one in Oscar Tshiebwe. I really miss him on the Mountaineers. Yeah, it sucks we lost him. He was a McDonald's All-American the year he came out. I'm pretty sure he was a 5-star recruit. Maybe a 4-star. But yeah, either way, one of the best players, one of the highest ranked recruits that West Virginia got in a while, and it just sucks that he transferred. I'm definitely glad we got him. He's so raw. It's scary. He's just going to get better. Yep. He's a beast, man. I wish we could have kept him. He's a beast. We got some hoopers this year though. We got a couple freshmen in here. We got a really good freshman big man actually. So he can actually shoot the three. He just he's kind of skinny. Like he obviously he's muscular and in shape and everything, but he's just a little bit skinny for center. Being a freshman, well, he's a redshirt freshman, so it is his second year, but he was redshirted last year. He'll develop, and he's going to be really good here in a couple years. His name is Isaiah Cottrell. I'm really excited about his game and what he's about to bring to our team here in the future. As far as this year, our best players are guards. We got Taz Sherman, Sean McNeil, our small forward, Jalen Bridges, who is a West Virginia native. He won the state championship here in high school. Jalen Bridges is an absolute stud. Might be your year to do some damage. Yeah, I could definitely see it. UCLA is looking pretty scary. They brought back a lot of pieces. Johnny Juzang and company. They look really good so far this year. Gonzaga, of course, looks really good this year so far. They got Drew Timme back, the stash. And they also have the number 1 ranked recruit in the country, Chet. I forget his last name, but he's real lengthy and skinny. So, yeah, they got a huge big man duo down there at Gonzaga, which is scary. So Gonzaga and UCLA, a couple West Coast teams looking pretty scary this year. Duke looks like they're back. Kentucky looks like they're back this year. Not so sure about North Carolina this year. They don't have Roy Williams. Don't bring up the Zhang man, please. It still hurts that Cal let him walk. Oh, that Cal let him walk. Did you guys have him? Did he transfer to UCLA? I did not know that actually. That is news to me actually. He is a beast though. He's an absolute stud. Probably one of the favorites. Him and Drew Timme are probably the favorites to win Player of the Year this year, I would say. Yeah, oh dang. See, that's how I feel about Oscar Tshiebwe, man. You can feel my pain. You can feel my pain. Other contenders this year, I mean, I thought Michigan would be pretty good, but the whole Big Ten kind of looks like they suck this year. Illinois already got upset. Michigan and Ohio State lost to Xavier today. That's Cincinnati team. Do you cheer for Xavier and Drake? Cincinnati College. Yeah, Duke's big recruit. What's his name? Palu. I don't know how to say his name, but I know who he is, and he got charged for like assisting a DUI or something. So like I guess he was in the car with someone who was drinking and driving, which is just unsafe. Nope, only Kentucky when it comes to basketball. I feel you. Cincinnati's usually pretty good. Xavier is in there. Something like that. Yeah, I don't know why it's like assisting a DUI as a charge, but I mean, I don't know. Not that big of a deal, but obviously whoever he was in the car with should not be drinking and driving, but I don't know. Not that big of a deal in my opinion. Should be fine. Hopefully he doesn't do it again. Trying to think of what other contenders there's gonna be in college hoops. I've been watching the games. Villanova looks pretty good. They went into overtime with UCLA. That was a awesome game. I watched that one. See, Texas, I thought Texas would be really good, but they lost to Gonzaga pretty handily, so I'm not so sure about Texas. I was so shook when Chris Beard left Texas Tech to coach Texas this year. Like, that was just so crazy to me. Like, I lost a little bit of respect for Chris Beard because he is a great coach, like a really great coach. I remember whenever he coached Arkansas Little Rock University, and they had an insane comeback in March Madness to defeat somebody. I forget who it was, but they came back and defeat somebody in a crazy comeback. And that got him the job to Texas Tech. And then he took them not only to the Final Four, but the championship game where they lost to Virginia. And that was a great championship game. It was a close one. So he almost won a championship with Texas Tech. And then, like, as soon as he got the chance, he left for Texas. Like, and Chris Beard was one of my favorite coaches in college basketball at the time, just because he has so much success and he's still pretty young for a coach. And I just did not like that he went to a different Texas team that just get more money. But I mean, that's kind of how it goes. I mean, all coaches do it. But oh yeah, Coach K's grandson was actually the one driving. Yeah, I did see that. From my understanding, the other guy was driving and Palu or whatever his name is switched with him. Yeah. Yeah. They just don't need to be drinking and driving. Just call it Uber or something, you know. Uber, taxi, whatever you got. Have a friend, have a DD, have a designated driver. But yeah, not too big of a deal. I'm pretty sure he played the next game that they had versus whoever they blew out that week. It was just a nobody team, but so he's already back on the court and everything, no suspension. Other contenders this year, Kansas looked pretty good. Yes, Kansas is back. A lot of the Blue Bloods, I feel like, are back this year. Kentucky, Duke, Kansas, especially. I'm not sure about North Carolina. I haven't really watched North Carolina play. Not sure how they're doing without Coach Roy Williams in there, but not sure how they're going to be this year. But definitely Duke, Kentucky, and Kansas are going to be back this year. I mean, Kansas was still a 3 seed in the tournament last year, I'm pretty sure. So they didn't not make the tournament like Duke, Kentucky did, but they definitely had a down year for Kentucky basketball or for Kansas basketball. It seemed like, considering they are like one of the top programs in the country. I'm really hoping some guys for WVU can develop and we can really compete this year. I'd love that. We have some pretty good freshmen that have some playing time this year too. So I really want to see Coach Hugs get a championship before he retires. I mean, he's probably got a good 5 years left at least. I hope. That's me being hopeful. And I really want to see them. I really want to see my boys get a championship and get Hugs a championship as well. I would be going crazy. Yep. It does bother me that Ohio State is ahead of Cincinnati when they have one loss and no wins versus ranked opponents. Yeah. Where is the Ohio State where is the Ohio State criticism coming in? Like when Wake Forest and Oklahoma had no wins versus top 25 opponents, they got penalized for it, but Ohio State didn't. I guess they did have one. They have the one ranked win against Purdue last week, but Purdue's not ranked anymore. So I guess current top 25 teams, Ohio State hasn't beat any of them, I don't think, because Purdue's not ranked anymore. I mean, they did blow out Purdue, and I get that, but yeah, I guess we'll see how they play against Michigan State this week. If they can beat Michigan State by a good bit, then they probably deserve to be up there, but they did beat Penn State. Was Penn State ranked when they beat them? Why does Ohio State have like every game at home? Did they play road games this year? Because they had Penn State at home, Purdue at home, and they play Michigan State and it's at home. And what? I'm very confused. Like, why does Ohio State get to play at home like every game? That's crazy. So they're definitely on the road when they face Michigan this year. So going into the Big House, I don't know. Do you think Michigan has any chance at beating Ohio State? Michigan's going to be at home. Yeah, they lost to Oregon at home too. Okay, so Nebraska was on the road. So all these teams that they just blew out were on the road, I guess. But it just seems like every game they play, it's at home. I'm like, what? It's like that with Alabama too. Like, and I know they don't play every game at home, but it really seems like it. So first game of the year, they had Minnesota on the road. Then they had Rutgers on the road, Indiana on the road, and Nebraska on the road. And then they have Michigan on the road. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they have 5 road games and 12 home games. What? Or not 12 home games. Or 7 home games and 5 road games. Is that what every team has? I thought it was supposed to be 6 and 6. I swear it's supposed to be 6 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Let's look at Alabama, because I bet they have 7 home games as well. Seems like they're always at home. 1, 2, 3. What? Alabama technically only had they only had 4 road games this year. Yo, what's up, KT to GOAT? How you doing, my guy? You thought it was 6 and 6. That's what I'm thinking. Like, I'm not sold on Ohio State's defense either. They have an amazing offense, the best wide receiver trio in the nation, 100%. They got Trey Henderson too, CJ Stroud. 100% maybe the best offense in the country, but their defense I'm not too sold on. I would really like to see a Ohio State Georgia matchup, because that is like ultimate offense versus defense. I think Georgia's defense would be able to stop them. But, yeah, Ohio State might be the only team that has a shot at really, like throwing the ball deep on Georgia with their wide receiver trio of Chris Olave, JJ, and Garrett Wilson. So, yeah. You're doing good. What about you? I'm doing real good, man. I had a really good day today. Very excited about this stream. I have a banger video coming out tomorrow that I spent a lot of time on. And, yeah, the Saturday's going to be pretty good. A lot of good games coming on. So, I'm very excited. But like I was saying, Alabama is going to play 4 road games this year. So they had Miami. That was a neutral field because it was the Chick-fil-A kickoff game. So 1 neutral versus Mercer at home, at Florida, Southern Miss at home, Ole Miss at home, at Texas A&M, at Mississippi State, Tennessee at home, LSU at home, New Mexico State at home, Arkansas at home, and then at Auburn. So 4 road games, 6 home games. No. 7. Yeah, 7 home games, 4 road games, and a neutral game for Alabama. Like, what? Going back to the Cincinnati thing, at this point, the committee has to be doing whatever they can to keep them out. The Oregon-Ohio State game was a touchdown or less differential, so they deserve to be in. Right after Oregon makes 0 sense. How do you put Bama at 2? Yeah, I could see what they're doing. I'm interested to see if Alabama, Oregon, or Ohio State lose another game, which one of those teams probably will. What is going to be their excuse now? Because they have Cincinnati at 5. It's going to be crazy because if Michigan wins out and one of those teams ahead of them, like Oregon or Ohio State, wins, they're going to jump Michigan over Cincinnati and put them in the top 4. I guarantee that's what they do. They're going to do everything they can to keep them out. Say Oregon loses, let's say Oregon loses this week to Utah. They'll put Ohio State at 3. They'll probably put Michigan at 4 and keep Cincinnati at 5. I could guarantee you that that's what the committee will do. I guarantee it. But the good news in that is if you have that top 4, 1 and 2 would play each other in the SEC championship. Alabama, Georgia, and Michigan, Ohio State play each other here in a couple weeks. So that leaves a big opportunity for Cincinnati to get in. So I think it's going to be very hard for the committee to keep Cincinnati out of the playoff, especially if Notre Dame keeps winning, because that is Cincinnati's big resume builder right there. If Notre Dame wins out and goes 11-1 and they beat that team in South Bend, that it's going to be, and they stay undefeated as AAC champs, it's going to be very, very hard for the committee to keep Cincinnati out. I think that enough stuff is going to happen at the end of this year that Cincinnati will get in if they can just win out and Notre Dame gets a little bit of help and also wins out. That's the key. Cincinnati fans also got to be Notre Dame fans the rest of the year. Georgia versus Ohio State would be fun, though. Best offense versus best defense in the nation. Yeah, that would be crazy. I mean, it would be like a real test for Georgia if Ohio State's throwing the ball real deep down the field with Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, and they can also run the ball with Trey Henderson. So you can't just sell out completely on the pass because of Trey Henderson. And yeah, I really think Ohio State can do some damage. Their offense does struggle sometimes in the red zone. Not so much against Purdue, but the games before that. So I could see that game being a lot of field goals for Ohio State, getting stopped in the red zone. But Ohio State does score a lot of touchdowns like before they even get to the red zone because they have a lot of like big play touchdowns. So yeah, it would definitely be a very interesting matchup, and I would like to see that a lot, actually. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of college basketball too so far this year. I'm gonna try to learn as much as I can, watch as much college basketball as I can before December comes around, because probably start of December I'm gonna start making some basketball, some college hoops content here on the channel. I'm very excited about it, and I'm gonna try to watch as much college basketball as I can, even during football season. So yeah, put out a poll on my channel. It seems like a lot of you guys want to see some college basketball content, so that's very exciting. Probably can do some similar things that I do with football. Not sure if I'll give out my top 25. It's a little bit harder to do top 25s with basketball because it's trying because there's so many Division 1 teams. Like with football, it's a little bit easier because there's some less teams. There's still like over 100, 130, I'm pretty sure. But with basketball, there's so many Division 1 teams. Like, it's crazy. The good bad thing is that Kentucky's core is juniors. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. I mean, a Kentucky team that is juniors is a little bit scary considering like most of the time Kentucky is really good. They have freshmen on their team, like, and usually one and dones that go into the NBA, which is all good because they're usually really, really good players. But if you have some experience in Kentucky's core, then I think that could go a long way for sure. Ideally, you want to have like a couple seniors that are your leaders, and even if you have like your one and done freshmen, if they're superstars, like that will take you a long way. So maybe do more reactions for basketball than you would do for football and do them twice a week. Yeah, I probably will do some more reactions for basketball. I'm going to have reaction videos out for most of the bowl games. I'm not going to do every single bowl game, but most of them, like the best games, the best bowl games, and definitely the college football playoff games and the championship game. I'm going to have reactions for in football. For basketball, it's kind of hard to do top 25s. It's also hard to do like weekly winner picks for basketball because teams will play, twice a week, most weeks. So, I'm going to be picking, if I do a weekly winners picks video, I'm going to be picking like 2 games per team, which is a lot of teams. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I have a new video coming out tomorrow. I'll actually give you a little preview. I mean, you might be the only one in here. Whoever's in here, you can get a little preview as well of what video I got coming out tomorrow. And I probably could do this with some basketball players as well, and make it into a little series. So that is something I have coming. If you guys like it, then I'll probably make it into a series. But I'll show you the thumbnail here, a little sneak peek, and see what you think. Okay, this is, well, you can't really see it right now, but I'll keep my border here. This is the thumbnail for the video I have coming out tomorrow. It is the story of Stedman Bailey. He is one of my favorite football players of all time, and he has a really interesting story. So I'm going to talk about kind of his football career, how it ended, you know, kind of like where he's at now, and what's going on with him. So that's kind of what I have set up for you guys tomorrow. And if you guys like that, I can do it with other football players, basketball, college basketball stars as well. If you guys wondering like what they're up to now, what's their story, I think it could be interesting, because I recently started learning how to edit more, and this video coming out tomorrow is actually like the most time I've ever spent editing a video. So can't wait. Yeah, let's get it, bro. Let's get it. You should do one for Terrence Clark. Rip, man. That's gonna be a sad one to do, but yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind. I gotta get some basketball content out here, and then I'll probably start doing some basketball story videos as well. I need to get a little bit more of a basketball audience, because well, I guess I mean, most people subscribe to my channel from college football now, so, but whenever I put out that poll, it seemed like over 75% of people actually were interested in some college hoops content, so that is good. I need to grow some college hoops fans in here and get some content going for that too. So yeah, it's going to be a very fun end of the year for college football, and then we get to start off with some college basketball as well. It's going to be so much fun. I'm probably going to do a bunch of reaction games for college basketball. Some story vids coming out after this one as well. If you guys like it, you guys give me your honest feedback on that one, because I don't know if I'm going to continue this series or not, but it definitely could be if you guys want to see it. Hey, we got 6 viewers in here now. How you guys doing? Let's get it. Once you get basketball content out, they will come, but most college fans watch both basketball and football. That is true. Yeah, I mean, if you're a Division I or a Power 5 college fan, then you probably watch both basketball and football, chances are. So that is good. Because I want to do both. I want to do college basketball and college basketball, because I watch both. I love both sports. Actually, growing up, I played a ton of basketball. I only played 2 years of football, really, growing up. So, but I played basketball from kindergarten all the way up until present day. You know, I play basketball all the time, still with my friends. You know, we get together and play every once in a while, and basketball was always my main sport. The where they are now, that's an amazing idea for a series. Yo, thanks, man. I appreciate it, because I kind of like, in this one, it's already done. Like I said, it's going to be uploaded tomorrow. It's completely done. It's the longest video it's ever taken me to edit, but I think it's pretty good so far. I think it's pretty good, but yeah, we'll just see the feedback I get on it, and I kind of tell his whole career story, and then kind of talk about where he is now in the end. So, which one do you like better? As far as like to play basketball, as far as like to watch college football, I would probably still say, I would say college basketball. I like to watch better. I just love it. I'm actually coaching this year. Right before stream, I'm coaching my little brother's basketball team. He's in 6th grade. So I'm starting my coaching career this year. So hopefully we can bring home the championship. Starting my coaching career. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Before stream, I actually went to watch all the kids work out, and I'm drafting the rest of my team. I have my brother on my team, and I'm drafting the rest of my team on Monday, so that's going to be really fun. I'm very excited to become a coach, and yeah, because I was looking for some adult basketball leagues around my area, and it's very hard to find some right now, so. For another football story, Joseph Osai has an amazing story. All right, yeah, I'll definitely have to look into that. I remember evaluating him last year in my mock draft videos. He's out of Texas, very good player. I forget where he actually ended up getting drafted to in the NFL, but I'll have to look into his story because I actually do not know Joseph Osai's story, so that could be a fun video for me to make. I'll get to do a lot of research on him and learn his story, tell it to the audience, and he made it to the NFL, so it must be a really good ending. Oh yeah, he did go to the Bengals, your team. That's nice. 3rd round, yeah. That was low-key a snag for you guys because I remember some people had 1st-round grades on him. I think I had a 2nd-round grade on him, but get him in the 3rd round. That is a snag. That is for sure a snag. Yo, what's up, KPM? What's going on, my man? It'll be important to do since childhood with him. All right, I got you. With this one I got coming out tomorrow, I start with his high school. So, like I said, I need some constructive criticism on this video I got out tomorrow, and I can definitely add more of their stories in future videos if you guys want to see that. So, we'll see. We will see. Also, another thing I wanted to get your guys' opinion on, like, who do you guys think is, like, the lowest rank as of now that still has a very good chance to make the college football playoff, in your opinion? Not much, man. Stumbled upon your App State versus Coastal Carolina video, and you led me to this live. Hey, that's what's up, man. Did you just find my channel today? Yeah, I do these call-in streams once a week, every Thursday. The story starts before high school, just to give you a heads up. All right, I got you. I would definitely look into doing him soon. There is definitely a couple of players that I have in mind to do story videos on too, and I'll definitely keep that in mind whenever I start his. If you guys like this series, that I need to start from childhood, so, and I could just start doing that for every player I do. Actually, that's probably what I'll do. I just do a lot of research and make sure I get a lot of information for you guys. It was a couple of days ago. The live stream was in your recommended. Gotcha. Well, I appreciate you tuning in for sure. But like I was saying, who you guys think is like the lowest ranked team in the current college football playoff top 25 that you think has a real shot at making the college football playoff? Let me look at the top 25 now. Off the top of my head, I would have to say Oklahoma State. I think if they win out, they have a real shot at making it into the playoff, because they'd have to beat Oklahoma, and they'd also have to either beat Oklahoma again or Baylor again, which they already beat Baylor. I guess Oklahoma State's ranked 9th. I think they still have a good possibility of making it. Oklahoma, do you guys think they have a real shot at still making the playoff if they win out? So they'd have to beat Iowa State and beat Oklahoma State twice. If they do that and win out, do you think they're in? Because they're ranked 13th right now. That might be the lowest ranked team that has a real shot at making it. I would probably have to go with them. But if you don't think Oklahoma still has a real shot at making it, then I would say Oklahoma State. That would be a good idea just to show the struggles they had growing up, or if they had it fairly easy. Yeah, definitely. I think I'll start doing it. It's not gonna be in tomorrow's video. Like I said, it's already done. That one starts in high school, but I'll definitely take that into consideration for future story videos if you guys like them. We'll start from their childhood, because I think it shows like more of their story, and that's actually a really good idea. You say no, is that talking about Oklahoma having a real shot in? I don't think they deserve to be in, honestly, but yeah. I'd say either Ohio State or Michigan claims the top 4 after they play each other. Yeah, for sure. If whoever wins that Michigan-Ohio State game, assuming like they win the rest of their games, will be in the playoff. If either one of those teams win out, they'll be in the playoff, 100%. I'd say 8 and 9 is the lowest. I'd say that has a real shot. That's what I'm thinking. Notre Dame is 8. I think Notre Dame has no shot. No shot. Right? Because if Cincinnati wins out, they cannot put Notre Dame in over Cincinnati. So yeah, that I don't see any possible way Notre Dame can get in the playoff, because their best win is against Wisconsin, and that's not even that great of a win. So yeah, I don't think Notre Dame has a chance at 8, but at 9 is Oklahoma State. I think they have a chance. If they win out, they have a shot to get in, 100%. Because they have wins over Baylor, and they would have wins over Oklahoma, and maybe Oklahoma twice or Baylor twice. So I would say a 1-loss Big 12 champion Oklahoma State team probably gets in. Because unlike Oklahoma State has been blowing out these Big 12 teams. So the uproar that would cause if they put Notre Dame in over Cincinnati, even if they have 1 loss. Exactly. Not only does Notre Dame have 1 loss, they lost to Cincinnati at home. And it was a 2-score game. It was a 2-score game. There's no way they can put Notre Dame in over Cincinnati. There's no way. If they do that, then they have to expand the playoff right there that day, because this playoff format we already know is flawed. But if they did that, it would just like go above and beyond. Like, it would be it. Bama at 2 kind of baffles me. I think 3 should be their rank. Yeah. I mean, who do you have at? Who would your number 2 be at this point, KPM? I do think like it bothers me, like the committee, they don't have a set thing that they value whenever it comes to ranking. So they can say, oh, we value the head-to-head between Ohio State and Oregon, but we don't value the head-to-head between Michigan State. But we value the eye test in Alabama. Like, eye test wise, they look like the second best team in the whole nation. But they don't value the eye test when it comes to like Oklahoma State, because they also have 1 loss, and they blew out 3 teams in a row, being West Virginia, which is my team, unfortunately, TCU, and Kansas. They absolutely destroyed all 3 of those teams 3 weeks in a row. But apparently the eye test doesn't really matter to them, because they're still ranked 9th, even with 1 loss, just like Alabama. So it does baffle me a little bit, because why are you valuing different teams for, or valuing different things for different teams in order just to rank? It's just really dumb the way it's set up, and this is why we need a 12 team playoff. I mean, Drake and I have talked about this plenty of time. Drake pitched the idea that we have the 12 team playoff. Every conference champion gets a lock into the playoffs. So you have 5 locks in a 12 team playoff, and then your 6th lock would be the top, the best group of 5 teams. So this year it would be Cincinnati. They'd be a lock. So then you have 6 locks. You can go ahead and have your committee select the last 6, and you'd be good. Top 4 teams could get a bye week. I think that is probably the best playoff format that we could get. You think Cincinnati should be number 2 because they are 10-0? They aren't 10-0 by fluke. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Cincinnati, they can rank Notre Dame number 8, and Cincinnati has a road win against them, but they didn't play anyone else. So apparently that win gets undervalued because of that. And they're not even in the top 4. So they don't want to put Cincinnati in the top 4 because they know once they do that, if Cincinnati goes undefeated, they can't take them back out. They're trying to do whatever they can to keep Cincinnati out of the playoff. And I knew this would happen. I knew it would happen. They need a couple teams to lose. They need Notre Dame to win out. And they need themselves to win out. And if they do that, then they have to put them in the playoff. They do. They have to. Yo, what's up, AJ? Get a little drink of water. Yeah, I'm definitely going to struggle with what content to make for basketball season for college hoops, but your boy will think of something. We'll think of something. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the UCF situation a couple of years ago. It's all about the revenue, all about it, man. They want the teams that are gonna bring them in the most money. They know that if Alabama, your Ohio States, your Oklahomas even are gonna bring them in a ton of money whenever they get to the playoff, which is why they need this 12-team playoff so badly, because then they can put in their money makers, and you can still have the teams that actually deserve and earned to be there. People say Cincinnati will be boat raced in the playoffs. Put them in. If it happens, that will prove us wrong. If they don't deserve it, but I don't see it happening. I think they'll put up a massive fight even against these top teams. Yeah, I think that Cincinnati has been looking forward to this since last year. I mean, you think about it, they went undefeated last year up until the Peach Bowl, where they lost to Georgia barely, and then they knew whenever they got ranked number 7 in the preseason poll this year, they've been working so hard to get to that point, and they knew at the start of the year, if they can go undefeated, win the AAC, beat Notre Dame on the road, that's why they put them on the schedule, beat Indiana on the road, that's why they put them on the schedule, and win out the rest of their games, that they would make the playoffs and become the first group of 5 team to do it. And it just sucks that they're actually doing that, and it is still questioned that if they deserve to be in there. I think that Cincinnati needs to be in the playoff. Everyone wants to see it, and they talk about putting in the teams that will make them the most money, but Cincinnati being in the playoff is only gonna up the TV ratings a ton. In my opinion, they're gonna be what? Cincinnati, a group of 5 team, is in the playoff? I gotta see this, because this is a team that has never been up here in the ranks this high, and there's never been a group of 5 team in the playoffs. So I think that would only make people want to watch this team and see how they go up against the top dogs. My guy, keep grinding, bro. Glad someone on the tube actually knows what they're talking about. Yo, thanks, AJ. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you a ton. I personally believe it should be an 18 playoff. Yeah, I would be fine with the 18 playoff. Like, it needs to be more, though. Like, 4 is just not enough teams. Like, especially because they do want to put in their Alabamas every year. Their Alabamas, Ohio States, like, they want to put in the moneymakers, the big market teams, the big brand teams. So, yeah, I think 8 is, like, the minimum it should be. I really like a 12-team playoff. Just give the top 4 teams a bye. So, we got a first caller coming up here for tonight. Yo, what's up? You're on with Danny.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Not much, man. How are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm sitting here thinking, man, whatever you got to do, however big you got to make the playoff, man, just make sure we get Southern Miss in there. We're 1-9 right now. This is
1-9. We might need a 100-team playoff for that.
Hey, we're 1-9 right now, and we just want to be in the playoff, man. So if y'all need to make it a 120-team playoff, man, we're all on board, baby.
Hey, you guys put up a fight against the undefeated UTSA, though.
Hey, for real, without a quarterback, you saw Frank Gore Jr. get in there, and he cut up a rug and got 120-something yards with a touchdown. He looked really good, man.
Yeah.
And this actually tomorrow night on CBS Sports Network, Southern Miss takes on Louisiana Tech. So
and I actually, let me tell you, I actually took I took Southern Miss to cover in that game because they were big time dogs. So I expect them to come out fighting and cover that spread for me.
There we go, baby. Let's go Southern Miss to the dog on top. Thanks for taking my call, brother.
You're welcome, man. Thanks for calling. All right, 12-team playoff. Every Power 5 champion and the best Group of 5 team is a lock. Other 6 can be committee vote. Yes, sir. That's what I was talking about before. That you had that idea a couple streams ago. March Madness for football. I think it would only bring in a ton of more viewers. I mean, you see how popular March Madness is with basketball. Like, yeah, I could definitely see. Expand the playoff will only make more money for the NCAA. So, agreed. Tired of seeing these small colleges get taken for granted. I'm an App State fan, and I'm used to. Hold up. I'm an App State fan, and I'm used to being counted out just to almost pull an upset. One thing I will say about Appalachian State. They're really good, and I cannot wait. They need to win out, man, because I really hope they do, because I need to see an App State Louisiana rematch in the Sun Belt Championship. I need it, because App State, they lost by a lot whenever they faced Louisiana early in the playoff, but I think in a rematch, App State's going to give them a huge run for their money. It's going to be a great game. And I also want to talk about this a little bit. The Sun Belt, I think, is going to be the best Group of 5 conference starting next year. I think it's going to overlap the AAC, and the Sun Belt is going to be the top Group of 5 conference next season. I mean, they brought in Marshall, a couple of other teams. The AAC conference is losing a lot of teams, so yeah, I really do think the Sun Belt is going to be the best Group of 5 team, which only is going to bring a lot of opportunity to Appalachian State. Technically, KPM, we're both Mountaineer fans. I'm just a West Virginia Mountaineer fan. You're an App State Mountaineer fan. Yo, what's up, Cold Shield? Imagine Southern Miss versus Mississippi State in a national championship game, or any team in Mississippi in a national title game. Yeah, that would be freaking crazy, man. Yo, Sippy Sports Show. Thanks, brother. I subscribe. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling. Thanks for subbing. I appreciate it. While we're at it, let's get Kentucky in it. Yeah, let's get everyone in the playoff. It doesn't matter. Every FBS team makes the playoff. The regular season doesn't even matter. every team makes a playoff. Let's just make it a 130 team playoff. No more regular season. Let's just start out with a tournament. Start of the year. Let's do it. App didn't have Noel and Cam Peoples healthy in the first matchup. Those guys are amazing running backs and a staple for our offense. Yes, for sure. I think against Coastal Carolina was actually Cam Peoples' first game back. I believe so, right? And that man has been carrying it up 100%. So I'm very excited for that rematch if it happens in the Sun Belt Championship. Yo, what's up, man? You're on with Danny.
Yo, man, what's good with you, man?
Yo, what's up, Cold Shield? I know who this is.
Man, hey, man, hey, my boy Sippy Sports Show, man, he brought up an interesting team, man, like Southern Miss, man. As soon as because I'm on NCAA 06 right now, I'm on Dynasty mode, so when he brought that team up, I was like, yo, like this Southern Miss, man, bro, that team, bro, if they was to go back to the day where they had Brett Favre and actually become good, that would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I mean, the Sun Belt is on the rise right now.
Yeah, it is, man.
I think the Sun Belt are the biggest winners of the conference realignment so far.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, that's good, man, for sure. You know, man, that's why I'm saying, man, if they expand the playoffs, we can actually get to see how good the Sun Belt Conference actually is, especially with the teams that's winning. And it's like, yo, man, because when he brought up Southern Miss, man, I thought about, man, just imagine Southern Miss versus Ole Miss or Mississippi State in the national title game. Of course, that's going to be something different. That'd be something different because, like, that's going to bring a lot of TV ratings because it'll be like, damn, Southern Miss? We ain't seen Southern Miss since Brett Favre.
Yeah,
and, like, so that's going to get so many people attracted to actually go see, you know, the national title game. Plus, we're going to have a new SEC championship game. Not a championship game, but we get to see a new team in the SEC in the national title game besides Alabama, LSU, and Georgia. You feel what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying with, like, Cincinnati. Like, when I'm not sure if you were in the stream at the time, but I was talking about, like, if they make the playoff, then everybody's going to be, like, even, like, if they weren't paying attention to college football, like, during the regular season, they're going to want to tune in because they're like, Cincinnati, they're in the playoff. Like, we got to see this. We got to see what they got to going up against these top dogs competing for a championship.
Indeed, man. And let me tell you something. Like, Mississippi sports is actually looking good this season, though, man.
Facts. Like, that Egg Bowl is about to be lit. That Egg Bowl is about to be lit.
For real, man, because I seen a game with Mississippi State and Auburn, man. Mississippi State, you know, they look impressive, man. Like, you know, bro, let me tell you something, man. Next season, you know, they definitely going to be better, you know, because if they have, like, just a group of, like, freshmen and sophomores, like, doing this, you know, and they just playing at this level, then, yeah, they're going to be dangerous next season for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
And, man.
Their quarterback is real nice. What's his name? Will Rogers. That man is nice.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what year he has, how many years of eligibility he has left, but yeah, he'll probably be back next year, right? So they're going to be a problem for sure in the SEC because Mississippi State, the last good quarterback they had was Dak Prescott, right? Had to be. Might be missing someone, but
yeah, Dak Prescott.
Yeah,
they had some defensive players too, but I forgot. But yeah, man, like, you know, they looking good right now, man. And I'm trying to tell you, man, like, bro, like when it comes to, like, you know, the whole playoffs, man, I'm telling you, son, like, if we could get, like, you know, just like what Jones was saying, man, like, get Kentucky in there.
Yeah.
And that's interesting too because if they expand this playoffs, let's say if the playoffs was like an 18 bracket this year or like 12, right?
Yeah.
So, you know,
I honestly think that's the perfect number, is 12. I think 16 is too much because if you had a 16 right now, who's ranked 16th? 15 is Wisconsin. Like, and I feel like Wisconsin in the playoff this year is like a stretch. Like, I think 12 would probably be perfect because you got your 12th ranked team is like around Baylor or Wake Forest, which I think would be interesting if they were in the playoff. So I think 12 would probably be perfect.
Yeah, 12 gonna be lit, man. Because like, let me tell you something, bro. Like, just imagine all the games, like a 12-team playoff game. Like, you know, just imagine like the teams this year, like the team that was like in the top 10, like Iowa or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they was like still in the playoffs right now. You know, if they was in the playoffs right now, if there was a 12-team bracket, they, you know, they'd be looking to get. You know, they'll be looking to get revenge against certain someone, but they can't really get it with Penn State since they already out there bid. So, but they'll probably like come to show like, you know, why they deserve to like be in the top 10 if they was to get that second chance just by having this 12-team bracket. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, man, like
you definitely get to see a lot more teams like get a rematch. You know, like everybody always talks about probably the most popular one. Everyone talks about the Ohio State-Oregon debate. You know, who should be ranked ahead? Even though Oregon beat Ohio State on the road, was it week 2, week 3? People say, you know, based on the eye test, Ohio State should be ranked ahead because, you know, they're just the better team right now. But the thing is, you can't replay games, you know, y'all lost. And it's not just the end of the season that matters to me, at least. Like, I think the whole season should be taken into consideration whenever you're picking these teams to make the playoff. So, even if you did lose to them in week 2, then, you know, it's a full season type of thing.
For real, man. Yo, man, I tell you this too, man. Like, man, because like, man, Oklahoma State, man, like, you know, I can't wait to see that versus Oklahoma. I actually think, man, if Oklahoma State beat Oklahoma and Baylor does take care of business, Baylor might get a chance to play Oklahoma State for the Big 12 championship.
Yeah, that's
if
true.
They get some stat points at the end.
If Baylor wins out and Oklahoma loses to Oklahoma State, then we're going to see a rematch between Oklahoma State and Baylor in the Big 12 championship.
Yep.
So I honestly think that might be the better rematch, because I don't really think this Oklahoma team is all that good. Like, I think they might be able to squeeze one out this week against Iowa State, because they're probably going to put Caleb Williams back in there. I'm not sure if he's going to have bad games back to back, but the way that they're switching between Spencer Rattler and Caleb Williams is weird, and they both have games where they struggle, it seems. So, I mean, we've seen Caleb Williams even struggled a little bit against Kansas. So, going up against Oklahoma State, which is, in my opinion, a top 5 defense in the nation, I'm not so sure Oklahoma's going to be able to put up the points because they couldn't even do that against Baylor.
Not at all. Not at all, man. You know, that's interesting, too, because, you know, I would actually like to see them versus I would actually like to see Oklahoma versus, like, you know, like a team like Wake Forest or something like that.
Yeah.
Just to,
I mean, that could be a bowl game this year.
Yeah, man, you know, because I actually think that'd be a good, interesting game to see if Oklahoma was really fluking this season, you know.
Man, that game there might be maybe 150 points scored. Oklahoma, Wake Forest.
There ain't gonna be no defense.
There ain't gonna be no defense in that game.
Yeah. For real though, man. Because I would have Wake Forest actually winning that game, you know, over Oklahoma if that was to happen this season. But because man, I'll tell you, man, like, bro, it's crazy how the Big 12 can like put up so many points, man. Because I was just thinking about that, like, you know, hours ago today. I was like, dang, man, they put up so many points. Because imagine this, for example, you could have like a SEC championship game between, like, you know, Georgia and like a random SEC team like Arkansas, for example. The game gonna be very close and very defensive. The game will probably be like 38-37. Just because like it's a championship game at SEC, and both teams are like trying to get that title. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it don't even matter what record a SEC team is. If you just randomly just put them in the SEC championship game, it's gonna be close and defensive because teams in the SEC know what it means for like that pedigree for the SEC championship. So you might take a 1-8 team in the SEC, put them against Georgia. It might make that be a little close only because of the championship game.
Yeah.
So
I have a little bit of
crazy.
an idea. I want to get caught up here with the chat real quick before I talk about it. Yo, KPM, he said James Madison isn't no joke either. That are a couple years removed from a natty. Yeah, that is a big time pickup because James Madison is one of the top FCS schools. So for the Sun Belt, that is huge. And yo, Joneses, thank you for your this call in shit. It's so fucking lit. Yeah, thanks, man. Drake 12-team playoff would be so fun to watch. All I know is that I want another shot at Tennessee and Mississippi State. Yeah, I would love to see Kentucky, kind of get a rematch between those teams because I do think that Kentucky, they kind of got figured out there in that little 3-game losing streak that they had. But kind of what I wanted to talk about is what Drake said, like a 12-team playoff. Like, I feel like this is exactly what we need because not only does it make it to where there's more games, but people who are fans of teams that don't usually get to see their team compete for a championship, they're gonna get to see that, and they're gonna be able to support their team more and just get excited for the playoff, and therefore more people are gonna watch it. Like this year, for example, Wake Forest, they're hardly ever ranked up here in the top 10 like they are this year. If we had a 12-team playoff, they'd probably be in it. And when else would Wake Forest ever, their fans have championship aspirations, like thinking we could actually win it?
For real. For real, that's all fact too, man.
Like, I know, me being a West Virginia fan, like a 12-team playoff gives me a lot more, makes me a lot more optimistic about the season, because we can be one of the top 12 teams and still have a chance at a title.
For real.
And that's a lot more realistic as a fan than, trying to be one of the top 4 teams.
For real, man. For real, man. And plus, that would actually help West Virginia actually get a shot to actually win, like, a national title because, they missed out on chances with, Pat White in West Virginia.
That was the biggest one.
So it's like, this would be like this would be a good start to actually make a West Virginia dynasty if they was to do a 12-team playoff bracket.
We got a 4-star quarterback coming in here next year. Excited about that.
Oh, yeah, I gotta check him out though.
His name's Nico something, man. Nico something. He's from Arizona. This is high school. Yo, Drake, he says, Kentucky, West Virginia bowl game, sign me up. Yeah. First, West Virginia has to make a bowl game. We got to win our last 2 against Texas and Kansas. If we win our last 2 games, we'll be 6-6. We can make a bowl. It's actually interesting this weekend. I'm probably going to be at the game. West Virginia versus Texas. Loser does not make a bowl game because we're both 4-6.
Yeah, man. I tell you, like in Kansas, they actually beat Texas. They actually beat Texas last week, man.
That was crazy. Texas tried to come back. They tried.
Yeah. That's interesting too, man. See, that's what I'm saying, man. It's like the teams that haven't been winning the whole season, they finally be able to find a way to put up some points, like Kansas. They finally found a way to actually put up some points and actually win a game. Which is, this is actually a good start for them because, man, if they was doing this the whole season, who knows what could have happened.
Yeah. It would not surprise me if Kansas beat TCU this week. it honestly would not surprise me if they beat West Virginia at home last game of the season.
Yeah,
I mean, Kansas could finish the season as on a 3-game win streak.
For real.
So
Man,
that
I
would
tell
be
you
crazy.
though, man, like, yeah, man, like, I actually like to see them actually, become a good team again. Because there was one time when they actually had a shot for like a national title. That was like way back in 2006 and 2007, when everybody was just jumping in rankings, like people was in number 1 week and then dropped the next week.
I feel like almost every FBS team in the nation had a chance to win the championship in 2007. That shit was crazy.
For real, man. And I think that's like, we gonna have something like that again when we get this 12-team playoff bracket. They only rumored it to have it like in 2024, but
I want it next year.
They need to do that going now.
I want it next year.
For real.
We need this 12-team playoff.
For real, sir. Because like, look, because I'm on NCAA rankings right now on the football team. They got Ole Miss at 12, Baylor at 11.
Yeah.
Wake Forest at 10, Oklahoma State at 9, Notre Dame at 8.
I think that's the perfect cutoff right there. Ole Miss, Baylor type teams. That's like the cutoff, and then like perfect. That would be a perfect playoff.
For real.
How crazy? Okay, think about this though. Say we get a 12-team playoff next year. What if we have a year like 2007 where just everyone is losing? Just think about that, but then in the form of a 12-team playoff, of like how many teams are going to be in it. Like, you could really say, like, if it was a year like 2007, that seeds 1 through 12 have a legit shot at winning this thing.
For real, though, man. And Drake Berry said Texas had tons of recruits on a visit for that game and lost.
Yo, is that the game they had Arch Manning visiting? And they lost to Kansas? That would have been crazy.
Dang, that's crazy, though.
Because I know Arch Manning was supposed to visit at Texas some point in the year. Yeah. Screw next year, get it done now. I agree, man. I want a 12-team playoff right now. Let's do it this year. Just implement it mid-season.
Man, that's crazy, though. And it's crazy, though, man. That comment got me because Kansas beat them. They had all those recruits just for Kansas and lost the game. Damn.
It just amazes me how Texas can continue to get these 5-star recruits whenever they go 7-5 every year, and they fire their head coach every 2-3 years.
Yeah, man. Like they ain't been the same since like they had like
Vince,
the dude named Williams when he played for the Cowboys. I forgot his name, but I know his last name was like Williams, I think. And he played for the Detroit Lions and Dallas Cowboys. He was a wide receiver at Texas. He played with Vince Young and Jamal Charles and all them. They ain't been the same since then. But that's the only time I remember Texas football being good. So it's like, yeah.
How crazy would it be if one of those top Texas recruits not only left decommitted to Texas after they lost to Kansas, but then went ahead and signed to Kansas?
Man, that'd be crazy though, man.
Kansas getting their first 5-star in probably 20 years.
For real. And shit, that's just might what they be needing too. That might get Kansas.
They need something.
Start with.
They need something. I actually thought a couple years ago Kansas might get something turned around there with their football program when they hired Les Miles after he ended things with LSU. I thought that was a pretty good hire because even if he did have some off-the-field issues or whatever was going on, he's still a great coach who was coaching at one of the biggest brands in college football just before.
Yeah.
But
I think
that didn't end up turning out too well either for Kansas.
Yeah, he's still the coach. He's still the coach for them.
No, I don't think so anymore. I think they fired him a couple years ago. He didn't last there too long. I was surprised. Yeah, what's up, Larry Pilgrim? Crazy. To me, the craziest game score this year was Georgia Clemson 10-3. Yeah, first game of the year. That was a great game. I mean, only score coming off of a pick six. That was crazy. And I still do believe that Clemson has like a top 10 to 15 defense in the nation. And obviously Georgia, we all know, is the best defense in the country.
Yeah, that game with Georgia and Clemson had like set the tone for Georgia, like with that huge momentum. Like ever since that game versus Clemson,
yep,
like they just been winning.
They knew like that crazy, well, it didn't turn out to be as big of a resume builder that they probably expected it to, considering Clemson has like 4 losses now, but at the time, like, that is a lot of momentum and motivation. We could be the best team and win it all this year because we just beat Clemson, who was where both teams were ranked top 5, you know.
Yep.
So I think that what you said was right. It really set the tone for them, and they've just been destroying everyone week after week. Like Arkansas came in, was a top 10 team at the time, just got torn up. Kentucky, same thing. It just, damn.
Yeah,
Georgia's really been tearing them up. Will Shipley is insane. Saw him play our rivals in high school playoffs, and he tore them to shreds. Yeah, I mean, Will Shipley at Clemson, people were saying he might be the next Christian McCaffrey, which is actually crazy because I actually seen something where Christian McCaffrey actually texted him or something and was giving him some advice. So I think Will Shipley next year is going to be a big problem in college football, and he's going to have some crazy highlights.
Yeah. Shit, I got to see what all these recruits gonna do next season for sure, man. Cause
it does seem like some top recruits that we thought were gonna be super nice, just not doing too much this year. It'll be interesting to see if they'll still enter the draft. Like people like JT Daniels, is he gonna enter the draft considering he hasn't even played that much games?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like,
for sure, man. And it man, let me tell you something too, man. Like, because I just had this thought too, man. So like, I just look. I'm thinking about these rankings too. This is the reason why we need, a 12-team playoff bracket. Because think about it, Michigan State at one point, they actually jumped to number 3 until they lost.
Yeah.
They jumped way ahead of Cincinnati, you feel what I'm saying, because they're a Big Ten team. So check this out. If Michigan State or Michigan was to beat Ohio State, right, they beat those teams, they could jump Cincinnati all because they're in the Big Ten. That's a crazy thought right there, too.
That's what I was thinking about, too, because, like, a team ahead of Cincinnati could lose, and they might just replace that team with Michigan instead of moving Cincinnati on up.
For real, sir. That's what I'm saying, though, man. That's why we need that 12-team
and then
playoff. Like,
they'll reach completely, and after the winner or the loser of Michigan Ohio State drops, they'll just go ahead and pull Oklahoma State down, put them in the top 4 ahead of Cincinnati.
For real. And that's the crazy part about that, John, too, man. And let me tell you something. I like Michigan State. But man, but for this particular season, I actually want to see like Cincinnati actually be the Cinderella story and actually get it done.
I think Cincinnati would beat Michigan State if they played on a neutral field.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I haven't seen much from Michigan State's defense. I don't really like the defense.
Because I re-looked at Cincinnati's clips, like when they played Notre Dame and everything. To be honest, actually Cincinnati, they kind of did make some mistakes versus Notre Dame. They could have put up some more points against them. but they just kind of made some mistakes, and that's the reason why the game was like 24 to like 13, 24-13, I think, or 24-17.
Yeah, it was something
But
like that.
yeah, because like Cincinnati, like the mistakes they made versus certain teams, or just like decide to just play defense. So I feel like Cincinnati could score more points if they wanted to. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I think they're a much better team. I think they just do it. I think they just do enough to get victories. That's the
Yeah.
reason why the committees don't really
Well,
like try to like have them in number 2 and things like that.
it
But
did
a win, each
seem
win.
like after they beat Notre Dame was kind of like when they had their 3-game stretch against Navy and Tulsa and all of them, where they were playing like one score games between these teams that they were supposed to be blowing out. And I wonder if that's because, they got the job done against Notre Dame and they were like, all right, now all we got to do is win out and we'll make the playoff. And they kind of snoozed through a couple of games when they really shouldn't have been doing that. And they kind of got lucky, especially in that Tulsa game, which I think, honestly, that Tulsa game might have woke them up a little bit about that because of how close they were to losing. And that's why they actually played really good against South Florida. I know it was like 40-something to 20-something, but they were up.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they were up 42 to like 14. Like it wasn't as close as what the final score said.
Yeah.
And
also
sure, another thing I want to talk about was how we were saying Michigan State's defense. I am not a big believer in their defense because I was watching the Michigan State-Purdue game. That Michigan State defense could not stop Purdue in the air at all. I mean, they were actually making a comeback in that game. They were down 16 points with about 7-8 minutes left in the game. They go down, score a quick touchdown, get the 2-point conversion. Still 5 minutes on the clock. They got timeouts. All they need is a stop, and their offense can get another touchdown, 2-point conversion, and try to force overtime. So they're down 8 at this point. Their defense just needs to stop. What does Purdue do? They just absolutely kill them through the air, just like they've been the whole game. And Michigan's defense really stopped them from making that comeback in the Purdue game. Man, I can't talk. But
yeah. Man, I'm actually glad you brought that. I'm actually glad you brought Purdue up too. Before I get on them, man. Yeah, man, Michigan State is just, their defense is probably like the only thing that's like hold them back. That's the only thing that's like holding them team back. I mean, if they want to be Ohio State this week, hopefully they have fixed the defense up so they can stop.
Yeah, I don't think Michigan State can stop Ohio State.
Offense is crazy though. Like I think
because
Ohio State's offense is crazy, but
that is one thing I'm scared about because I do think Michigan State will cover the spread, which is like Ohio State's favored by 20 points. I think it's a 10 to 14 point game with Ohio State winning. I mean, you never know, Michigan State could win, but I am super scared about that because Michigan State could not stop Purdue's passing offense, and now they're going to go on the road and face the best passing offense in the country.
Yeah, man. So, and I'll tell you this
it's
too,
a little
man.
Bit
like,
scary.
And since it's like near the end of the season, it's like, teams like Michigan and Michigan State, they're gonna be playing Ohio State. We all know how those rivalry games be.
Yep.
So like for Michigan State, since they had like sleep time versus Purdue, they know what this game actually means for them for a Big Ten championship. So, I mean, hopefully we should see a different Michigan State versus Ohio State this week.
Yeah.
Because like, man, I tell you though, man, if they because Cincinnati, they hoping Michigan State and Michigan or just one of those teams can actually beat Ohio State so they can have a shot.
I think Michigan has the better shot just because the way they play, and it's also going to be a home game for Michigan. So I just think like the way they play, they run the ball, especially if Blake Corum comes back, because I'm pretty sure he's still injured, but then they have Hassan Haskins as well. Both those running backs are really good, and they have enough firepower through the air that they can march the ball downfield that way too, especially because Ohio State's defense isn't, one of the best Ohio State defenses we've seen in the past couple of years. And Michigan themselves play pretty good defense. So, and I think Michigan's defense is a lot better than Michigan State's defense.
Yeah, for sure. Man, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying, like, if anyone was going to beat Ohio State, due to, like, the lack of, intensity of Ohio State's defense, it would have to be Michigan, especially, like, right now, you feel what I'm saying? And that is interesting, too, man. My man Larry Pilgrim, he talked about Utah. He have a big game against Oregon.
Get to that.
Yeah, Cincinnati better hope, man.
Yeah,
it's those teams.
That's going to be huge for Cincinnati. I'm sure Cincinnati are huge Utah Ute fans this weekend. Because if Oregon loses, that's going to open up a big possibility for Cincinnati. Because even if they do put Michigan at 4 at that point, knocking Oregon out of it, keep Cincinnati at 5. Sure, that's all right, but then the top 4 teams in the country are going to end up playing each other because you got Georgia, Alabama. They're going to probably face off in the SEC championship. And then you got Michigan and Ohio State as 3 and 4 who are going to play each other here in a couple weeks. So that would be key for Cincinnati if Oregon lost and to have that situation.
Yeah,
but I do think Utah. It surprised me that they were favored to beat Oregon this week. Actually,
I mean, I could understand it though, man.
Utah's been hot recently.
Utah, they had a good season though.
To me, Utah's got to be the clear second best team in the Pac-12, just behind Oregon.
For real, man, bro. They gonna be dangerous next season too, man, because with the way they were playing, I mean, with the only few losses they got, they kind of did just like beat themselves in them losses. But man, Utah, bro, let me tell you something. If they beat Oregon like this week, that already have them as one of the favorites in the Big 12 to actually be dangerous next season. Automatically, if they beat them, because they gonna play against a good Oregon team. It ain't one of the best Oregon teams in history.
No,
but
I definitely think Utah with that crowd is going to be able to force some turnovers, because the only thing that I don't trust about Oregon is Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown, I just don't see him as a quarterback who can get the job done, especially not for a championship.
Yeah. And I tell you too, man, like, cause man, bro, like, that's one game I'm definitely would be interested to see too.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be watching the Utah-Oregon game this weekend.
Yeah, cause man, last time I actually paid attention to Utah was like when they had Alex Smith at quarterback, and that's like way back in like 2004 eras. You know what I'm saying? So, man, it's crazy too, man, because me, like, and it's interesting too, man. You know how Maryland, Virginia, and Delaware is like the DMV. So in the west side of North America, you got Washington, Oregon, California, Arizona, Idaho, Nevada, and Utah. You know what I'm saying? All them places together would be known as the WOICANU area. You feel what I'm saying? So, like, these are, like, competitive games between Utah versus Oregon. You feel what I'm saying? Sure. So, it's like, man, I'm telling you, like, me being from those regions, like, of course, you put those teams in the college playoffs, I'll be rooting for them all the way, because those are, like, the home teams for me. So, it's like, with Oregon and Utah, son, I'm like, damn, son, like, they had to do it to me today, man. They had to do it to him, man, this season, man. Like, but like just for underdog's sake, I actually want Utah to win this game versus Oregon.
I would love Utah to win this game.
Cincinnati can get it.
Not only to just cause chaos in the Pac-12 and we'll probably get to see a rematch between Utah and Oregon in the Pac-12 championship as well. And that also opens up like a wide open door for Cincinnati to make the playoff here in the next few weeks.
Most definitely, for sure.
Yeah, that's it. Larry says Brewer was washed up and should not have started. Cam made it in time from his injury, but Brewer was given a shot. Yeah, I mean, I thought Charlie Brewer would actually be pretty good because he played all right at Baylor, but then he transferred to y'all. But yeah, I was never too high on Charlie Brewer. He does show some toughness, but like at least when he is at Baylor. But yeah, Cam is definitely the better quarterback, and you guys have played a lot better since making him the starter. Yo, Joan just says, I'm drunk as fuck, and the stream is giving me so much life.
Giving such life. Yeah, man. Shit,
my man's AJ is drunk as fuck.
Man, I'm telling you though, son. Like, yo, like, man, if you like this gonna be one of the games I'm interested in. I'm interested in the Utah game. See if they could pull off an upset.
Yep.
Just so Cincinnati can get a chance at the playoffs. And it's actually good too because, you know, if Alabama and Georgia play in the SEC championship game, and Alabama loses again, that should help Cincinnati get in too. Because I don't think they would let a 2-loss Alabama team get in.
They can't.
I feel like
they
Alabama
can't do that. They
Cause,
can't
like,
put
if
in
they
a
do that
2-loss Alabama over Cincinnati. Like, I thought about that scenario happening, and I'm like, you know, they could actually do that. Like, but they can't. There's no way. I don't think a 2-loss team is gonna make the playoff this year. Hasn't happened yet. They just can't do it. I will say if they do ever add a 2-loss team to the playoff, it would probably be Alabama.
And it makes me think too because like when we look at this scenario, it seems like Cincinnati has a shot to get in, you know, and it's like they don't have a shot to get in. But I feel like they can get in because if Utah beats Oregon or Ohio State loses another game, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or Alabama lose like a second game, that's, you know, Cincinnati got a shot to get in. And they definitely got a shot to get in as long as they keep on winning. So, you know, I think they can actually do it, man. Because I just don't see Cincinnati not being in the playoffs. That would be so beyond me right there. You know, going undefeated and not even do that. And it's crazy too, man. Because I wanted to talk about Purdue as well too, man. I'm like, man, son, they laid the egg versus Ohio State, though, son.
They did. They did lay one bad. Real quick, I want to. I missed a comment by Drake. He says, "Here's what I could find for the Texas-Kansas game for the recruits: 5-star Devon Campbell, 4-star Cam Dewberry, and 5-star Kelvin Banks." So they had some big-time recruits, and so 2 5-stars and a 4-star were visiting in that loss to Kansas.
Mm.
And Larry says the 2019 Utes have 9 of those defensive guys in the NFL, and the other starter from 19 will be first round this year. AJ, you say you fuck with us super heavy, man. Thank you, man. Thanks for coming in the stream and supporting. I appreciate you big time, AJ. SMU, Cincy, Oregon, Utah are going to be must watch. Yeah, I'm excited for the SMU Cincinnati game. We're going to get to see the Cincinnati defense, especially the 2 corners, Kobe Bryant and Sauce Gardner, go to work against this high-powered SMU offense. Oregon, Utah, must watch. And Iowa State, Oklahoma should be good as well. Yeah, I agree, Larry. All 3 of those games, I'm going to be watching. I'm very excited. What are you talking about, Coach Show, about Purdue laying an egg in Columbus last week?
Yeah, real, man. Cause boy, they was going hard like for the last couple games, bro. And I'm like, bro, ain't no. I looked at the like when I tuned in to Purdue versus Ohio State in the second quarter. I was like, ain't no way, son. Ain't no way you just gonna turn to a different
State
team
really
all
put
of a
up like
sudden.
42. in like
Yeah,
the
they really
first
put
half.
up 50 burgers on them.
Yeah,
They really put 50 burgers on them, son.
I
I'm
thought
like,
Purdue
man, Purdue
defense
defense.
was supposed to be nice.
Yeah, man. I don't know if they got scared because of like the way the game atmosphere was, or they just like, like a game like that would just make you wonder. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think they got scared, son, because I think they got scared of the atmosphere, but
Yeah,
and because
that's
like they're
true.
not playing at home, they not, and it's like a whole like game that could like really like determine like the way this season gonna be, man. I'm like, ain't no way you could just like lay the egg on a game like that, especially when you have the chance to like actually beat the so-called best offense in the college football.
Yeah,
Because like I'm pretty sure, because like this like the time of the year where it's like a whole bunch of potential recruits are actually seeing which teams they actually want to go
yeah,
to like
facts.
be with and actually like compete for titles and things like that. And I think Purdue kind of like laid the egg on that too. Because imagine Purdue actually won that game, that would
They
have a
would.
lot of
I
recruits
feel
actually
like,
coming to Purdue.
yeah, that would definitely help their recruits, and I think they actually did that against after they beat Iowa when Iowa was number 2. I think the very next game they
Yeah,
lost to Wisconsin, so they did that both
yeah,
times they beat a top 5 team. The very next game they laid an egg. So yo, Larry gonna
yeah.
crash. Night
You couldn't
fellas. Yo,
teach you
see
that.
you, Larry. Thanks for tuning into the stream. But yeah, it's crazy. Both games actually they did that.
For real. And I know Wisconsin, like you told me, they do have a defense.
Yeah,
So I mean, I could understand like how, because I know defensive teams can actually like win games like legitimately, compared to like offensive teams and things like that. But you know, I don't know, man. Like, shit, I don't know. Like, it's like with Purdue, it's like we don't know which team we gonna get. Like, on a
yeah.
particular week, man. It's crazy because I had high hopes for them, man. I still got hopes for them
Well,
though.
I'm looking at the
I hope
rest of
like
their schedule. They got Northwestern and
in
Indiana.
Indiana,
So yeah, it should be
they
2
they should win them
dubs.
games though.
Finishing 8-4. I mean, I'd like to see them go up against a team like, man, who would you like to see him go up against in a bowl?
Man, Purdue versus Utah. That would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
That one
That would be
or
interesting.
SMU, because SMU can put up some damn points.
Yeah.
Shit, because that just for like a style clash. And speaking of SMU, man, college basketball, they did beat Oregon though in college basketball.
Did they?
Now, a football game between them would be interesting
Yeah.
for a bowl game because you got two teams that's always been known for their offenses. You feel me? So
Yeah.
it's like,
I'd like to
so
see
that's gonna be lit.
Purdue. Man, I'm trying to think of teams that are around 8-4. Let me take a look.
Mississippi State.
Hey, that would actually be lit. I would love to see Will Rogers. I feel like Mississippi State would win that game. I don't know why. That would actually be a good matchup. Or even against Arkansas would be pretty lit.
Oh yeah, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
That'd be a crazy game. Them versus Arkansas, Mississippi State, or Utah would be crazy. Or who else would be crazy, man? Man, shit, like Houston would actually be another good one.
Yeah.
But like the first three, that would be interesting though.
I like
I
to
just
see them
thought of
against
Mississippi State.
Utah, Mississippi State, or Arkansas. I like Purdue in a bowl game. Those would all three be really good matchups.
For real. Because, like, the reason why I said Mississippi State, they're, like, probably the best 6-4 team I have ever seen yet. They probably the
Yeah,
best 6-4 team I ever seen. I ain't never seen 6-4 team play the way they played. Because
because
I
they
look at
beat
them and be like,
Auburn and they beat Texas A&M this year. They beat Kentucky this year.
yeah, very good wins, too. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
Mississippi
Very good.
State's like that, and like you said earlier in the stream, they're gonna be a problem next year.
For real, though, son. Man, like that's one thing. That's one thing about a 12-team playoff bracket because like that's gonna have a lot of style clashes, man. Because I actually wanted with the way that Ohio State's offense is, man. I actually want to see them against like very very good defensive teams that's not named Georgia.
Yeah.
Like you put them just against good defensive teams like Mississippi State, for example, or like Wisconsin or like even San Diego State, man. Shit,
Yeah.
I
San
ain't talking
Diego
about
State
them.
is. There's a lot of great Mountain West teams out there that are going to be some interesting matchups whenever they face. A couple of them are going to get a shot at maybe a Power 5 team. And those games I'm going to be interested in because I think the Mountain West are going to surprise some teams in some bowl games.
Because, like, yeah, man, because, like, usually teams that's out in the Mountain West or the Conference USA or the Double AC Conference.
The Sun Belt, any of those, when they get their shot at one of the big boys, that's their championship right there. They go all out.
For real. Because like those usually teams in those conferences, like they always been known for like offense.
Yeah.
They've always been known for like offense and like fast style play and everything. So it's like, seeing a style clash between them or teams like Ohio State, that would be interesting.
Yep.
Because then we get to see like who was like the real actual legitimate, top offense in the nation. You feel what I'm saying? Because there's so many great offenses in college football. Like man, you can't even just name just one. You feel me? So it's like
I'm excited to see. I want to see Fresno State go up against a Power 5 team. I mean, we've seen them against like UCLA, and that was like one of the best games of the season. So I really want to see Fresno State play against a Power 5 team in a bowl game. That would be
for
crazy.
Real. They could play them versus like a team like a Oklahoma State. That would be interesting because Oklahoma State can just put up points with just anybody. So then Fresno State, they show they can keep up.
I'd like to see
obviously
Fresno State go up against a team like I'd actually like to see them go up against a team like I'm trying to think of possible, maybe like a Penn State. That would be pretty interesting because Penn State's got a good defense, not so much of an offense, and that would be kind of different styles going up against each other, and it's also West Coast versus East Coast type matchup.
Yeah.
Yo, Drake, Kentucky has some nice recruits coming in, a 5-star, a few 4-stars, and a good amount of 3 stars. Hey, man, that's what's up. I mean, Kentucky, I feel like they're really building their football program down there. And being in the SEC is the perfect place to do that because a lot of 5-stars, they want to play SEC football. And, bringing those guys in, it's definitely going to build your program, especially having a season where you're probably going to finish 9-3 or at worst 8-4. And, that's huge for the football program. You said you'll take Purdue. You think you'd take Purdue over like Mississippi State? Is that what you're talking about? And
I can talk about that.
Yeah. What are some bowl game opponents you'd like to see Kentucky have? Well, that'd be interesting. What do you think, Coach Shield? Who do you think Kentucky should face in the bowl?
Yeah, man. I'm all about style clashes, man. So it's like I actually like to see them versus a team like San Diego State or Baylor or like teams they don't really play that much, man. Or Cincinnati Bearcats. That's a rivalry game because
they're close.
They had a trophy one time. They had a trophy one time called a Keg of Nails, I think. I think like that game that'll be interesting because you got Kentucky's on the rise in the SEC, and then Cincinnati, they trying to build like a pedigree with their program. So it's like
Yeah.
that would be interesting.
I would like to see Kentucky go up against a team. I like Baylor. What you said, that's an interesting one. Maybe even like a team. Man, I'm trying to think. It's hard to
Yeah,
come up
'cause
with these right off the bat, like on the spot. But maybe a team like Wisconsin would be kind of interesting.
yeah.
Or
What's
Iowa.
interesting about this, man? Yeah,
Iowa versus Kentucky
that
would
would
be
be
pretty
interesting.
lit.
Yeah, it's interesting you name them two because those are definitely winnable games for Kentucky.
Yeah.
If we basing them off right, like this season, I think the games would be a little bit more close than what people would think, especially with Wisconsin. Even though Wisconsin has an insane defense, I still think like Kentucky would actually get it done because like if you look
Yeah.
at the way they play versus Missouri, they showed flashes of like,
All early season, their offense looked really good. It's only the last few games where, I mean, against Tennessee, they put up 50. They still lost barely, but okay.
yeah, like and like let me tell you something too, man. Like, based off what Drake said, like, with all the recruits that coming in, it just proved me right. Even before I even heard of that information, I already knew they was gonna be back.
Yeah.
I knew they was gonna be back from that season because, you know, based off the 3 games they lost this year so far, like next year, they gonna come back stronger than ever. They got that experience, and they already got the 3 game circle on their calendar. Just be like, okay, we coming for these 3 teams we lost to, and so we
Yep.
can actually win. Which I actually think they could win because, of course, they rivals. So
I definitely think they could beat teams like Tennessee next year. Yeah, I don't know if they play Mississippi State next year because that's the SEC West versus SEC East, but they'll definitely be playing Tennessee and Georgia next year. And who knows what Georgia's team is going to look like next year because they're going to lose a lot of guys to the draft.
yeah, that is true though. That
Yeah.
is true. But that'd be crazy though. That'd be crazy though. If Georgia do still be a top 3 team next year, even with all the guys they lost. That'd be insane. But shit, like man, like Kentucky though, man. Yeah, even them versus NC State would be interesting too, because even Drake just said they beat NC State already in a bowl game before.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about the ACC teams. I mean, I would even like to see Kentucky go up against a team like Pitt. That could be interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
honestly think
Pittsburgh
the
is
best
solid,
my
man.
favorite matchup with Kentucky this year for a bowl would be Iowa. I like that matchup.
Yeah, that would be the most. That would be that would be the one that would make the most sense because, like, at least because, like, at one point, like, Iowa was the top 2 team in the nation at one point, so
Yeah.
it would have been interesting to see like how a team like Kentucky would have fared off against them.
Yeah,
Which
and
I think they
Iowa,
can actually win.
they lost 2 games. They're still 7-2, so still a good team.
Yeah,
Still a good team.
yeah.
Both
I think
teams who got
Kentucky
off to
pulled
really
off.
hot starts and kind of like cooled off going up against each other. That would be very interesting.
Yeah, man. Because when you think of style clashes, man, if you just throw up a random teams, man, like you might have teams like Iowa versus Mississippi State would be interesting too because
Yeah.
Mississippi State defense is like looking one of the top defenses or top. They look like one of the most balanced teams in college football, like already. And it's just been like the last couple games is like where they looking solid. So a team like them versus Iowa, and Mississippi State get a win versus Iowa, that's gonna have them look very good because
I think Mississippi State would beat Iowa
for real
for
though,
sure.
man.
Like I would have there's no doubt in my mind right now. Like if I'm thinking about it, Mississippi State versus Iowa, I'm like, I don't even feel like Iowa has too much of a shot in that game.
And that's one of the crazy things too, man, because they saw the way like they looking right now. If people just like was to see college football today, and they just look at Iowa compared to Mississippi State, and look at the records, they might say Iowa just based off like on paper. But until they actually see the footages or something like that, based off of recent, then they'll change their mind quick and be like, yeah, I'm picking Mississippi State. I mean, because keep in mind, Illinois, they beat Penn State all in an overtime game. So who's to say Mississippi State can't beat Iowa,
Yeah, facts. Yeah, Mississippi State, I feel like, man, they got to be up there with, like, one of the top 6 and 4 teams I've seen. I mean, they are really good.
For real.
Building that momentum, too, I think the Egg Bowl is at Mississippi State, so they get a home game against Ole Miss. I actually think that they might win that game, and it's just going to be so huge for them going into next year. And if they can win the Egg Bowl against Ole Miss and then win their bowl game, then they're going to have so much momentum coming into next year.
For real. Especially like with all the recruits coming in too, man. So
yep.
That means because you'll have a whole lot of new hot teams in the SEC, which is going to be Mississippi State, Kentucky. Those are the top 2 teams that are going to be hot next season.
Mississippi State, Kentucky, Arkansas is coming up. And, Ole Miss is probably going to be there too. It just, they're going to lose Matt Corral to the draft. But they're still going to be up there.
Yeah, they're going to be back. Yeah, it's going to be between them. Yeah, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Kentucky.
It's really crazy how a lot of these SEC teams are all like starting to like come up, because even teams like Tennessee, they're not having like the best year ever, but they really showing that they're trying to like get back to their winning ways.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy too, because like they're actually it's like they're so close but yet so far away. That's how it is with Tennessee. Yeah. Because like you look at their team, it's like they like if you look on paper, it's like their team looks so deep in the depth chart, but the way they play, it don't seem like they're very deep in depth. I think what with them is like just like it been for the last couple of seasons. I think with them, they tend to shoot themselves in the foot a lot.
They do.
That's what it is for them.
They don't have much of a defense this year, but that Tennessee offense looks very promising. And I do think that they have the right coach for the job right now, and he's really building something there.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I think they'll have a better season next season. You know what I'm saying? I think they're like 2 years. I think they're like 2 years away from actually.
They just can't have a down year if they can keep building it, because I know a lot of recruits probably do want to go to Tennessee. They just don't want to go there right now because of how many like losing seasons they've had in recent years. But if they start winning again, like they are this year, those recruits are going to come back to them. Because they're just like one of those programs where, if they're going to start doing good, then the recruits are going to come.
Yeah, most definitely, for sure. Man, well, at least they look better than Vanderbilt, man. At least they look better than Vanderbilt.
Man, I feel so bad for Vanderbilt being in the SEC, just like getting beat up.
For real, son. Like, man, and speaking of them, man, the last time they was any sort of good, that's back when they had like Jay Cutler at quarterback.
Yeah, they had James Franklin at coach. He's coaching Penn State now.
Yeah, so Vanderbilt, they just have a lot to rebuild on for sure. When it comes to football, man, it's funny too, man, because like the only thing I remember of Vanderbilt is like when one of their players said like, if you want SEC football, you gotta come to Vanderbilt. We ready for Alabama. And then we lost. Yo, they lost, bro. I was like the way they lost, bro. It wouldn't seem like they belong in the SEC with the
Yeah.
way
They're
the way
not
that
in there
game
for
turned
their
out. That
football
stuff was funny
program, that's for sure.
for real,
They're in there
son.
for baseball.
Cause like, bro, it's like them. It's like they always in Tennessee's volunteer shadow, bro.
Yeah,
And it's
it's
like
tough.
they make Tennessee Volunteers look like Alabama, bro. Like real talk.
They do.
And
I'm pretty sure they got blown
that's
out
how
by teams like I think they got blown out by South Carolina this year. And South Carolina, they had some good years, but this year they're probably the second worst team in the SEC, other than Vanderbilt, and they still got blown out by them.
yeah.
So
And it's
it's
crazy
tough.
though, man. Like it's like for Vanderbilt, man. It's like they could actually get replaced by some teams in the teams that could be in the SEC that's in the Sun Belt right now. Like you could replace them with like Louisiana Raging Cajuns.
Yep.
You might as well do that since Vanderbilt ain't doing good, and you could because it's I think if any team in the SEC does like have the move from that conference, it would be Vanderbilt as far as football and all that,
Yeah.
because I think that's how teams be moving to another conference anyways. Like if all of their sports ain't that good for like the last 10 seasons, I think that's when they kind of replace them. If multiple sports ain't really that good of a program.
Yeah. For sure.
And it's interesting though, man. But man, like Mississippi State though, man, and Kentucky, man, those two teams, along with Ole Miss, along with Texas A&M, and Arkansas. I had a dream that Arkansas was like a dangerous team, and it's crazy though, son. Like
They have a
I'm
good
talking
team
about,
this year, though. For real, though.
it's crazy too because they was right there this whole season. It's just they kind of let it slip away. I think next season, man, I think they're gonna start showing flags of why they could be a dangerous team. Just imagine though, let's just say Georgia does remain a top 3 team next year, and Arkansas hypothetically becomes like this top 3 team, get an SEC championship game between those two, and the game just end up like 38-37, and like it's gonna take the kickers to win the whole game.
Yeah.
And it goes either way, man. Like it's crazy though. Like I do like what Arkansas is building. Like they actually
They're building
surprised me this
something, man.
season.
They're building something.
Yeah, cause they surprised me this whole season. I didn't
They
think they
did.
was gonna
I mean,
be that good.
they're a lot better than what I expected, so I was definitely impressed. But,
Yeah.
Man, I think I'm going to hop off the call here and see if anyone else wants to call in real quick, because I'm in the stream here in probably about 20 minutes. So.
Yeah, for sure, man. I
Yeah,
definitely enjoyed this one right here.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I appreciate you calling in again, man.
Yeah, man. Shit, like I'm definitely gonna be tuned in like every Thursday, because like we got some intriguing games like coming this week, man.
Especially
like,
coming in, we're starting off getting real close to the playoffs. Things are getting interesting. Still a lot of teams I feel like have a shot. So.
Yeah. Yeah, Drake Berry, he said any Sun Belt team would get killed in the SEC. Man,
yeah,
that's an interesting one, man. It depends on which one you're talking about, man.
I think the only team that has any shot would be the Raging Cajuns, but they'll definitely beat Vanderbilt. That's all I can say. The rest would be, they might play some close games against teams like Missouri, South Carolina. They might be able to beat those teams, but if you take any team out of the Sun Belt, so you're talking like, man,
he's talking
like
Carolina,
a Texas State. Yeah, they would get killed.
Yeah,
but
the only teams that do have a legitimate chance in the SEC, if you was to put like teams like, only ones would be like, if we just talking right now, Coastal Carolina, Liberty, and the Raging Cajuns. Those like the only teams in the Sun Belt that got a chance
Yep.
in the SEC. And Liberty, they play Ole Miss. I mean, they kept
Yeah.
it. They kept it close. I ain't gonna hold
Liberty's
you. They did keep it
I
close.
think Liberty actually plays. Who do they? I think they play Louisiana this week. So that's gonna be a fun matchup.
Yeah. Cause
But,
they was one of the ranked teams in like beginning of the season. They had a couple losses, but and plus like one of the players like Malik Willis is like going to the draft. So
yeah, Malik Willis
I
is a
don't know if
beast.
they're gonna. Yeah, so it's like I'll be interested to see how they can keep up the same momentum as being a good football program, because like I actually do like what teams like Liberty and Coastal Carolina have going on with their program.
Yep.
So it's like, next season I'd be interested to see, with the recruits they got coming in, and if they can like repeat that same success, that was like left over. So which I think they probably will. But yeah.
Yeah, I
course,
think they could definitely build on it. I know they're independent team right now. Maybe Liberty's a team that the Sun Belt could bring in as well. They're around that area. I think Liberty's in Virginia. So.
Yeah. Like Liberty, yeah, so they in Virginia, shit, they can actually be in the ACC. That would be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if the ACC would want to bring them in, but maybe eventually they can work up there. They need a couple more good years.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hop off this call here real quick and read the chat for a little bit, see if anyone else wants to call in before I end the stream. But yeah, I appreciate you calling, man.
All right.
Definitely gonna be back at it next Thursday.
Yeah, most definitely, man. All right, man. You enjoy the stream. I'm about to like tune in and see who else joins in too.
All right, man. Thanks for calling.
All right.
Let's catch up with chat a little bit. I was looking for some recruits info. Did you guys say who you'd like versus Kentucky in a bowl game? We did. We talked about it a little bit. I think he mentioned a couple of teams. But my main one I mentioned was Iowa. I would love to see Kentucky versus Iowa. It would be a very interesting matchup. That was my favorite one that I could think of off the top of my head. We talked about that. AJ, the stream made my night, man. I appreciate you coming in and tuning in, AJ. I appreciate you big time. Yo, what's up, Christian? Where's the dono link? I don't even know how to make that, so I have no idea. I don't know how to make a dono link, but I guess eventually we might have one, but it's no big deal. I don't know how to do that. Any other questions you guys got up here in the chat? You guys can put them up here in the chat, and we can talk about some college football. I'll probably hop off of here in about 10-15 minutes, depending on how many questions we get. If you want to call into the stream, just call this number right here in the bottom right, and talk to me on stream real quick before I hop off here. So, yeah, you guys can put any questions in the chat or call up before we hop off. And if you guys are in here, and we are towards the end of the stream, but tune in every single Thursday night from 10:30 p.m. to midnight. And as you can see, if it's lit in the stream, we'll probably go past midnight, as it's already almost 1 a.m. here Eastern time. So, yeah, we do this every single Thursday. So definitely subscribe and tune in for next stream. See if we get any last minute questions up in here. The 5-star is an offensive lineman. Taj Harris, 4-star wide receiver from Syracuse, is transferring to Kentucky. Yeah, that's pretty lit. I have to look into that wide receiver from Syracuse. Syracuse is having like a low-key decent year. I really, really like Sean Tucker, their running back. And it's crazy that Sean Tucker is only a freshman, because the first time I actually seen him was whenever I made a reaction vid to the Syracuse Liberty game, and I was really only tuning into that game because it was like a Thursday or Friday night game, so it's like the only game on. And I also wanted to see Malik Willis play for Liberty, so I wanted to react to that game because I wanted to watch Malik Willis. But like the guy who impressed me the most from that game was actually Sean Tucker, and then I looked him up and did a little bit more research on him, and I found out that man Sean Tucker was only a freshman. I was like, what, dude? Like, this dude is going to be a beast. Like, Syracuse has them a stud running back for at least the next couple of years. As far as a 4-star wide receiver, that's a big pickup for Kentucky, especially because Wan'Dale Robinson is probably going to enter the draft, and Josh Ali is actually pretty good too. I'm not sure how many years of eligibility he has at wide receiver for you guys. But yeah, he's pretty nice as well. And yeah, the defense has been looking up too. So Kentucky's definitely building something special there. You said, what about that Long Island team? Man, that team has to be terrible, bro. That team has to be terrible because they lost about 60-something to 7 to West Virginia, and yeah, West Virginia is 4-6. So it's 7 4-stars that Kentucky has coming in as of now, including a transfer. Ali is a junior, I believe. Yeah, that's pretty lit. So he'll probably be back next year. I know Wan'Dale Robinson is a junior as well. So I think Wan'Dale Robinson probably enters the draft this year. I mean, he is a beast. He'll definitely get drafted. Josh Ali will probably be back for his senior year. He could probably get drafted after his senior year, though, if he has a big year. And I think he probably could. So, and then you also got to. Ooh, it would be crazy if Wan'Dale Robinson came back, Josh Ali came back, and you got that 4-star from Syracuse transferring in. That's a nice little wide receiver trio. Yo, Coach Shield, you said, LOL, Howard University and Rhode Island football. We got to find their Asian football program clips. Yo, facts, man. Facts. UConn just got their football program back, and they actually got a dub this year, surprisingly. So, Will Levis is a junior as well. Yeah. What's your opinions on Will Levis coming back, Drake? Are you optimistic? Maybe Will Levis will start playing like he did earlier in the year, or do you think teams figured him out because he hasn't been playing too hot recent weeks? And you know, we seen him a little bit at Penn State before he transferred to Kentucky, and he wasn't all that great at Penn State, to say the least. So, you know, I thought that he really revived his career at Kentucky, but it went a little bit downhill in those losses. So, what's your opinion, Drake, on Will Levis coming back for his senior year and starting for the Wildcats? We're probably in the stream here after a couple more minutes here. So if you guys have any more questions regarding football and you want to put them in the chat and talk about them, then go ahead and do that now because we're about to end the stream. If you do want to call in, then go ahead and do it now, and we'll end the stream on that. So, yeah. Will Levis and Kentucky gonna come with some vengeance after those losses now that they know what it means to win? Yeah, man, I would hope so. Next year, indeed, Kentucky is gonna be lit. Yeah, Kentucky is definitely gonna be lit. I just I hope Will Levis puts a lot of work into his game and really comes out here, especially if he has the weapons. Like if he has Wan'Dale Robinson coming back, Josh Ali coming back, and also a new 4-star wide receiver from Syracuse. He's going to have a ton of weapons, so he's going to have to put in the work and just really try to improve, and I think Kentucky could be in for a big year next year. I hope he does, but I want our backup Nick Scalzo to have a shot, 3-star dual threat out of Florida class of 2019. Sounds pretty lit. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see someone else. I'm always down to see other players get an opportunity, but I would also like to see Will Levis put in a ton of work this offseason, come back, like Goldshield said, with a vengeance, and especially if he has a bunch of those weapons coming back next year. But yeah, man, that's probably going to do it for the stream. I appreciate all you guys coming out here. You know, Drake Berry, Goldshield, you guys have been here the last few streams. Drake Berry have been with me for a long ass time, man. So I appreciate you guys big time. I appreciate everyone who stopped by and called in or type questions in the chat. We had a consistent, probably 5 to 8 viewers the entire stream. So yeah, that's the most I've ever had. So like, we're gonna continue to do this every single Thursday. So make sure you guys subscribe. If you guys are in here and you're not subscribed already, drop a like. We do this every single Thursday. One more time, I'm going to remind you guys, 10:30 p.m. to midnight. If it's lit, we'll probably stay over midnight and talk some more. So yeah, definitely tune in for next Thursday. Drake, since the Joe Burrow reaction. Yes, sir. So that was a long time ago because Joe Burrow and LSU won the championship in 2019. It's almost 2022 now. That's crazy. And, you know, back then I didn't have many subscribers. You know, I don't have that many now. I've been growing a lot. But, you know, back then I had, like, probably 200. So, and I was putting out a bunch of reaction videos like that. So, yeah, Drake, I appreciate you. Definitely been one of my subscribers that have been subscribed the longest and always been supporting the channel. So, yeah, I appreciate you big time. And yeah, thank you guys all for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next stream next Thursday, same time. We got a banger video dropping tomorrow, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And yeah, I'm out.